started this last week and realized this is not going to work. To mix together transparent iron oxide and our ultramarine blue. I'm going to start by making a few lines, and then I'm going to start blocking in shapes. This will help me to see better the accuracy of the portrait. These little tufts of hair that I'm indicating with quick line work here, they turned out to be a real nightmare. It took a lot of time and effort to get them to look right. So now you see that I am actually blocking in shapes. I am using my eye to determine how much space there is between the base of the ears to that dark spot in the center of the forehead to gauge a better placement of the eye. So seeing these shapes helps me with accuracy. Now, is this easy to do? Not necessarily, but once you learn this skill, it does save a lot of time. I'm going to go ahead and put some kind of a background in. I want to just be able to paint out over the background. It's got to be much lighter than that as far as the value is concerned, and the reason is because I'm going to be drawing out darker hair over it. Now we're going to try to block in some basic values. So I'm going with the darkest darks, and they're probably going to be darker than they will be when I'm done. And I'm basically just going to do a little bit of lightening through here. I want to note that some artists who have been painting as long as I have would be able to just break this down into 2 or 3 values. So what do I mean by that? I mean that right here where I'm noting a lighter value, they would have kept it as dark as the first value that I put down, which is the darkest dark. They would have continued with the darkest dark there. And then they would go to the lightest light. So it would be 3 values. It would be the background values, the darkest dark, and then the lightest light. Once the block-in is complete, then they would start breaking down the values. I can't do it that way. I have to break it down into more shapes from the beginning. I guess that's just the way my artist brain is. And we really don't know until we've been painting a while what will work for us. So it's good to have the training and take workshops and see what works for you. Hey, now that I'm going to tell you that looks more like a Pomeranian than what we started out with. It definitely does. Not real happy with that up there. I might just take some of that off I actually think that I've got it in there too heavy. We'll take some of that off. Let me get the lightest light in, which would be right here. These 2 points here are the lightest lights, and they're on the blue side, so I will correct that. And then I'm going to work my way from the top down, and I'm going to just put some white in here because I think it needs to be a whole lot lighter than it is. Yeah, I'm already liking that better. So what if I came in negatively here with this? This is the beginning of the struggle to try to get these little wild tufts of hair to look like they belong there and that he didn't stick his nose in a electric socket. And it doesn't go easy here. I keep trying different approaches, but eventually I find the right approach, and you'll see what happens later on in the video. So right here is what should work but doesn't. I'm going to try to work with a darker tone now. And I'm going to try to get this ear in here the right way. All right. Yeah, I'm definitely having fun here. Because I want to work from the top down, here is my second attempt at trying to get these tufts of hair correctly placed. But then when I look at it, it looks like a cornfield. So let's just move on. Moving back to the tufts of hair, if you noticed, I am indicating a lighter top area, which suggests layers. And I think that that's the key, but it's really not. And you'll see why towards the end. I get a bigger brush. I find that that works better for softening up the fur. A very light touch to blend. All right, you see that I have got some eyes placed, but they are not correct. I was trying to use the photograph that was very grainy, that came from the customer, and I'm going to try something different because I'm just not happy with how this came out. Watch and see. What I'm going to do, because I don't want to bother the customer, I'm going to actually start over. I might be able to fix that without starting over. Let me see what I can do. So first of all, I'm going to take this out. I'm going to take that out. I'm going to come in a little bit more here. What I ended up doing was pulling a stock photo of a Pomeranian that was in a almost same pose and almost same coloring as the Pomeranian photo that was sent to me by the customer. Now, that photo had very clear, precise information, and so I had more success doing the eyes using that stock photo. And I did that because I just didn't want to bother the customer or make her think that she didn't send me a good enough photo. Now, that doesn't work in all cases, but in this case, it did. And I'm still using that stock photo to help me nail this Pomeranian's nose. Might as well use the best source that you can. I've got that cute little face in. And now we have fast forwarded, and you can see that I've done some blending, and I'm kind of lost here. I really don't. I'm trying to get that soft yet thick texture of Pomeranian fur, and I'm just making a big mess. So bear with me. You'll see how I resolve this. I know that there's two things that I see very wrong here. The first thing, of course, is that mess on the top of the head in between the ears. And then the second thing, which I'm trying to correct right now, is I lost some of the bone structure. Maybe I'll bring that down a little bit more. And notice that I used my fingers on this tuft of hair, and I think by doing so, I found the solution. What I needed to do is make that tuft of hair, that segment where the hair sticks up, to look very, very soft, like almost not there. And that's when it made sense to me. Moral of the story, keep trying. If it doesn't work, try something else, but keep trying. These brush strokes help reestablish the neckline. Now, our Pomeranian, Buster Brown, he has a darker patch just above his eyebrows and his forehead area, so I'm doing that now. Not happy with the left ear, so we're going to rework that a little bit. Here I'm going to try to make this more 3D and project the nose out further by making it lighter. Now I'm talking about the muzzle area. Okay, it's the ear again. I'm just having such difficulty with this ear. Ear is further back. It is much further back, so let's do that. All of this here. And then this comes out. I got to get his coloring. Okay, now. Already looking much better. All right, here I'm trying to get the hair pattern that grows off the cheekbone. That will also add to the 3D effect. And you should notice that the paint is quite thick, and that's important that it is thick. There's probably gel medium, so there's a lot of paint on the brush, and then it floats better because of the gel medium. Now guess what? Instead of lines, I'm going to try to do shapes to build the ear. And now let's try hiding the ear with some hair. Bring this. So. Here I'm blending. All right, and then I think I just have a little bit more here. We go.